Welcome. Today we're going to talk about Taskade. Taskade is it's not like Things 3, it's not like OmniFocus, it's not like Todoist as a personal task manager, not like TickTick, which is a personal task manager. I've done some videos on TickTick, so I'll link one up above. I have a course on it on Skillshare. But what it really is a web-based collaboration tool. It's a really good web-based collaboration tool. Before we dive any farther though, let me tell you that Taskade did pay for this review. They didn't get to see the video. They didn't even ask to see the video. All they said was, when I said, hey, I'm gonna look at the iPad, they said, please look at the Mac app and the Chrome extension. So I said, sure, that sounds fine. It's pretty reasonable. But they don't get to see it before. You get to see it before at the same time they do. So Taskade is a web-based tool similar to Notion, I would say. And one of the things it does that really sets itself apart from Notion well is that it has video calling right inside the app. So inside the app, you can do your video call right away. The video calls work on iPad. I did see one person show that on their iPad in split screen. It worked just fine, but I just couldn't get that working myself. Audio worked totally fine, so you can still continue to have an audio call, but the video didn't continue to work. So I don't know what happened with my setup. I tried it in Safari and I tried it in their Tascade iPad app. It just didn't work. Well, didn't work. So let's dive in. Let's take a tour of Tascade. All right, so this is Tascade. This is the main interface here. You can see that I have my home view, which shows my team workspace. If I had other workspaces, I could switch here. I could edit the members, edit the notifications of it, archive and delete the workspace. Right, I can set up a new workspace over on the left with this button. Now, something interesting is right here. So as I was setting this up, I thought, hey, I have a team workspace or, I say a work workspace. But if I create a personal one, this one says, are you sure you need to create one? You can create private subspaces inside your workspace to organize projects and manage multiple teams under one plan. So and it says we build workspaces separately, but subspaces are all in the same billing. And this is actually one of the really cool things about Tascade is that it really tries not to charge you more money, like really at all. So instead, if I was going to create home and have like a, we'll say even like this, personal, new subspace, right? I could share this with my wife if I wanted. I'm not going to share it with anyone right now. And I could have YouTube, sharing it with any other team members that I had working with me on YouTube, which is 0. So I can have these separate, and then you can see I have whatever projects I want in there. So, and then inside my workspace, I have certain projects. And so let's say for my content calendar, can I move this over to a new workspace? Add to templates, move, and I can move it to my new workspace. Perfect. That's really nice. Content calendar, move to YouTube, best iPadOS task manager. It's a future video, just kind of playing with how it could work. Move out to YouTube. Some people may lose access, that's fine. And the writing project, that was just to show you some other views later on. So let's go to my YouTube space now. And let's get into the content calendar. So I actually found the templates to work really well. And you can see here, I actually have a different view here. I think there's other better ways to show this view. So the Kanban view, right, has a standard, fairly well-known Kanban view. Right, I can drag this Tascade review over here, and it grabs all the subpoints as well. Right, I could research the calendar. I could review and link to it in my Obsidian vault. This would actually open up the Obsidian review that I have going right now. I actually have it on my other screen where you can't see it. And to add, we can add a task. It automatically adds a bullet. So this would be what for my content calendar? Let's say Yoink as a clipboard manager. So it was actually a cool thing that Yoink just added for iPad. Yoink just added a way to do clipboard management. And then you can see we have a lot of keyboard commands. So I can hit Command, comma for more here. Command, comma. There you go. I had that wrong. Command, quote. Command, comma is in theory preferences. I can change what I want it to be here. And you can see this is, right, keyboard controlled. I can change, let's say I wanted a heart check instead. Change it to a heart check. So I can do Command, quote, again, single quote. And I can add a task below. Other thing. See, this is keyboard controlled. I can add a new tag here. Let's say this is an iPad idea. So now that's tagged. Space tag, and I could tag this for the iPad. iPad, great. I wonder if I can filter plus tag. Filter by, it's not showing that tag. So how can we filter? If I want to find only the ones that were tagged as iPad. Due date, assigned, tags, new tag. iPad. So how do you filter? I haven't actually tried this one before. So this is, I guess my content calendar is now tagged as iPad, which is not really what I want. Yeah, so it's showing me a projects tagged as iPad, content calendar. What I really want to do though, why didn't this work? iPad. Enter. Okay, good. That worked this time. So the other interesting thing I could do is I could hit enter and tab, and now I'm indented. Now I can also hit the single quote, and instead of being a check, I could say that this is going to be a bullet point. So I can even start outlining. So point one, and probably even better is to do it here. If I hit command quote, bullet one, what does the pip mean in lost functionality? Itty. So the way Yoink does this is actually it puts itself into picture-in-picture mode. That way it can monitor your clipboard. But does that mean you lose any other functionality? Specifically, I wonder what it means for audio playing. Is your Yoink picture-in-picture stealing your audio so you can't listen to music on your iPad? That'd be a question that I have. Another nice thing about Tascade, at least with the macOS browser, I guess it's just really a browser, the app, I can hit the tab, then I could actually have two different views. So I could make this one be my site layout project. This one is my content calendar. And then I can go between them easily, Command 1 or Command 2. This is one of the other views it has is the org chart. You can say a site layout. This would be like top page, top page, top page, top page, community, and then have sub pages below it. So that'd be a good way to lay it out. And then we could even come in here and I could put in another sub page, right? So about the community services contact. This is, I used to work in the long-term care facility field. So this would be kind of a site layout for that, right? We have multiple communities laid out that way. So another interesting layout was for writing project with a mind map. So you can actually lay out your mining. What if this was a review of Taskade, then a mind map view might be excellent. How is the quick entry? What does a quick entry look like on iOS? And I can show you that directly. So if we head over to my phone, I just open up, continue, I'm on Reddit here. Is there a way on YouTube to see which video is bringing you most subscribers? This is the question I just have. Hit the share sheet on the bottom, and I can scroll over, and it's probably buried here. Should be able to find Tascade right in here. There it is right there, Tascade. That's gonna open it up, and it lets me choose which workspace it goes into, right? I can see I have personal or YouTube to go into. So let's say this goes into YouTube, right? Going on to my content calendar, and I can pick which block it goes into. So I can go into write. Yoink is a clipboard manager. So the unfortunate part about that is that it doesn't do a great job of sectioning it off, right? If you see up on my screen right here, if we go to it here too, content calendar. So you have Yoink as a clipboard manager, and it doesn't really show me like hierarchy well. So write at the top here and Yoink as a clipboard manager are all the same level. I'd love to see indentation or some other way to filter that. So if I wanted to say this is a writing task, I can hit write and I'll add to project. And you see it showed up pretty much right away on the other side. That's super cool. So that works well. And that's probably your quickest way for entry. It works very similar to that on Mac OS as well. Or sorry, on iPad OS as well. Works very similar to that. Yeah, so quick entry is better on iOS, although the app itself is only okay. So you can see I have my team workspace, I can go into that and I can see my team workspace and what? No tasks are in there. Site layout writing project. How do I see subspaces? Activity. My tasks, no tasks specifically assigned to me. Team workspace. Archive workspace. So I can see here that I don't have my account, workspaces, team workspace. I don't actually see a good way to get to my subspace here. which is interesting. And this is kind of indicative of what the iPad app feels like. So the iPad app works very similar, and it is only okay. That's it. It's just okay. It's okay for diving into here and there, but it is not really a stellar app, I would say. It is hard to use on your iPad, the app. It is okay for quick entry. I'd have it on my machine so that I can, or on my iPad so that I can actually do entry into it, so I can do a little bit with it as far as shortcuts go, or as far as quick entry goes, like with a share sheet. But other than that, the app isn't great. Now, that said, Safari is excellent. It works really well in desktop Safari on your iPad. It works excellent. I can't fault it really at any point there, except for the lack of a video call going at the same time as you're using it in split screen. It doesn't work well. So there's also a Chrome extension. Let's install that right now. The Chrome extension, let's go to Taskade extension. We'll install that right now. Google, right? Add to Chrome, add extension. No, so now it wants me to open Tascade instead right now. We're not going to do that. I always find that a little annoying. I'll log in. So now it's send me notifications, but I never want them, so I will turn them off. Tascade, let's pin it. Okay, so we're going to look at what? Let's look at Reddit, YouTube, show subscribers. Same thing. How do I see all my subscribers on YouTube? Fine. I must add it to an existing project. So let's look at a project. It says no projects found in personal. Under my team workspace, get started with Tascade as a project. That's good. Site layout writing project. So I can hit Command Enter here to do it. This is very similar to how we see, I would even do it in, that's funny. That's unfortunate. So if I go to YouTube, I see product content calendar, I see it. And how do I see all of on YouTube? That's great. Block, let's add it to write, record, publish. So it does actually a better job here of showing us our hierarchy. So I want to go and write again, add to project. Good. And then if I come back into the web browser, I should be able to go to YouTube and content calendar, and you can see it here. How do I see all my subscribers on YouTube? So that's actually better because the text it brought in automatically was the site title, right? So the title is what you see up here in the tab bar. Block, don't want notifications, what you see in the tab bar right there. So it actually brought in that too, which is better explanation than what the iOS sharing brought in. It just brought in this little tiny bit here. Now, as far as other support on your iPad, just use it in the browser. Don't bother any other way. There is actually no shortcut support. I think I said that a little earlier by accident, but there's no shortcut support in there. It does have some widgets though. So as far as widgets go, we can add plus up in the top corner. We should have Tascade down there. Tascade, it has a few widgets. It's got a small square widget, right? Show your tasks past due as well. Bigger one shows your projects as well. So how far you are along in your projects. Let's actually add that one and see exactly how it's showing. All right, no projects. Let's edit the widget. It's not showing my projects. Any starred projects. So I'd have to go star my personal project. How do we star one here? Content calendar. How do I star you? Star. There you go. So you can see here in the iPad app too, it's just like a straight line. It doesn't, like there's no other views like you have in the desktop apps, unfortunately. So this is really here so you have something in your widget, right? So I should have something show up my widget now. Load more. Why is that project not starring? So we are hitting some bugs that I didn't find unstarred. It says it's starred. It says it's starred here. We can see our star. Let's try and just quit the app and bring it back because that happens sometimes. To fix things. Team Workspace. I can see stuff. YouTube. Content calendar is starred. There you go. Now it showed up. Quitting the app helped. I actually find iPadOS, I'm on 15.02, is still buggy. Shortcuts is buggy. I'm having trouble with my keyboard sometimes, typing wrong. Now, I'm also a Dvorak user, so that might be part of it. I switch back and forth a little bit because my one keyboard needs software to tell Dvorak, and the other keyboard just is fully programmed as Dvorak. So that could also be my fault, but iPadOS 15 is buggy. I wouldn't blame that entirely on Tascade. Let's look back at Tascade again, though. See, right now it's not typing properly. Tascade. So we looked at a few of them, right? We just installed this one with the starred projects, recent projects. There's no XL widget, and I really like XL widgets now if they're done well. So I think a lot of these, like this here, the small rectangle, is just as good as the big rectangle for most people, right? We have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 projects. Here we have 4. Like, you're not getting a lot more in there, right? Recent projects. So that would switch a little bit on the fly, although iOS, it's not going to change on the fly like perfectly. It's going to change a little bit on the fly, not all the time. But if I was to look at it in Safari, I'll use here, right? Safari tab groups. I have my Tascade one, Tascade team productivity. One really good, I have it in here, thing is the Tascade keyboard commands. It's got tons of Tascade keyboard commands. That's really good, and they all work in Safari, right? Command K as project search. So let's do that. Command K. Oh, I held Command too long. Command K project search. So we go to YouTube. Site layout. Search all projects in a workspace for YouTube. So it's only doesn't search subspaces. What if I come in here? Oh, content calendar is what I called it, not space. So let's come back up to home. Command K, content calendar. There you go. And can we get right into content calendar? There you go. Jumped right into my content calendar. All right. So there's a lot of keyboard commands in here, and for the most part, they work. Now, one thing it does right now is I'm actually hitting Shift Command L, and that is not working with Tascade. So that should actually, and it does work, or it was working last time on my home page. Should actually open the sidebar. So it doesn't work when you're inside a project for some reason, because Tascade is dealing all the keyboard commands, but there's a ton of them here, right? You can see I have Command K for project search, Command F for inside it. We can toggle our chat box with Command /. So that's something that does feel like it takes up a lot of space in here. A content calendar, chat box on the side. So Command / hides that. All right, you have formatting ones, you have editing ones, we have left and right arrow does stuff, different views. We can change things back and forth. The add-on menu we can get to, and here's a quick cheat sheet for all the keyboard shortcuts. So can we? Yeah, we could actually print this right out if we wanted to. I do like that. I definitely love that Tascade because a lot of web tools don't have this. I was working in Wrike for quite a while and had like 0 keyboard commands. It was terrible for that. But Tascade has a lot of them, and they work for the most part, say 99%, on your iPad as well. So if you're going to be using Tascade on your iPad, then you want to use it in Safari. It's far better in Safari. So the improvements in Tascade that I want to see. For all the good that I see in it, there are some issues for sure. The first is the quick entry of tasks. There's just not a good way to do it, unfortunately. It's okay, but it's not stellar. It's better on iOS, despite the app being not great. It's better on iOS because you can actually use the share sheet. The other thing I'd love to see is shortcuts. We need some shortcuts. We need a published API. There's some stuff about having an API, but it's never actually happened. So you can't even use an API call, which is actually be outside of the realm of lots of people. I would feel comfortable doing it, but I write to APIs all the time. So be fine for me, probably not fine for you. And then the other sore point is the mobile application, which is barely passable, I would say. So as someone who prefers using their iPad, I would say it's just barely passable. Sure, you've got one, great, you've checked a box, but it's not like you can brag about it. You definitely can't brag about it at all. Now on the pricing front, Tascade is really, really good because it's free. Like, totally free forever at this point. Who knows what they do in the future, but right now it says it's free forever. What you have to pay for it, $5 per user per month, is version history if you want it, advanced permissions for users, cloud upload integration, and two-way calendar integration so that tasks and appointments sync back and forth between both, so you can edit them on both sides. And that's it. And I would bet that most teams don't need those features, so you can get away with it just using it for free, right? Where it gets unlimited tasks and projects, unlimited members and guests, unlimited subspaces and teams, templates, calendar, repeat tasks, real-time collaboration. That's actually something I didn't even show. The templates in here are just stellar. The templates are really, really good. So let's come back over here. Let's put it out of Chrome. I would actually never use it in Chrome. The templates it has, if I wanted to come in and start a new project, right, blank project, import, create a template, or browse template. So let's just create it or browse templates. It has all of these different templates in here, right? Project, scrum board, team review, meeting notes, personal stuff. There are tons of templates. I actually found that this was the best way to start. I found trying to create my own a little bit confusing. So starting with their template was by far one of the best options. There's so many things in here that are just, like, it's all built for you. So I'm not sure why you'd, especially at first, why would you spend your time building it on your own? I certainly wouldn't, right? Team management, right? We can filter by what we want, remote work, organization, mind map, workflows. And then you can just start using this as you get to know what's happening for you, or what suits you best. All right, so finally, what's my recommendation? If you are an iPad user that doesn't like working in the browser, then I would say you really want a good app, then Tascade's not for you. The app is passable, and if you really don't like working in a browser, and I don't, then I would say it's not for you. If you love working in a browser, it's totally normal for you, you always just default to the browser, then by all means, it's absolutely perfect. I have no faults on it really, except for that Shift-Command-L, which I assume they can resolve, and they are very quick at updates, so they can probably resolve this on their own. If you're on Mac OS, Windows, any other web platform, then you know what, Tascade's really good, and it's inexpensive. I don't want to say cheap because it's not a bad product. It's just you don't have to pay anything for it basically to use, and you can like do your full team collaboration. You could assign parts of your production process or assign tasks out to different parts of your team. You can write in it. You can do lots of stuff in here, and it has got a lot of features. And that video calling is really nice because then you don't actually even have to pay for Zoom or anything. You can just have video calls inside your app that you're already using all the time without having to take off and go find some other thing and then link tasks back and forth. You can have it right there. You can chat in the app, and that makes it really, really good. So I'm going to say, if you're iPad first, you want an app, the app's not great, so don't go looking at it. If you are iPad first and you like using Safari, go for it. If you are Mac OS, the app is good on Mac OS, the browser is good on Mac OS. I'd love to see better task entry. I'd love to see extensions for Firefox and Safari as well. I know Chrome is the majority browser, but you need to see them both, I think. And even honestly, a web extension for Safari would now work on iPad OS Safari if you went that way as well. So that's, maybe they should do that, Tascade. Other than that, have a good day. If you like the review, like to talk about Tascade, then you can support the channel by becoming a member. You can see that below in the join buttons on YouTube. You can also take one of my courses on Skillshare. You can find all them in the links below. Have an excellent day.